بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وبعد مع الأمثال القرآنية Portraits of the Holy Quran, and tonight's ayah we just listened to in these beautiful rak'at from Surah Al-An'am, the 6th chapter of the Holy Quran, verse number 125. فَمَنْ يُرِدِ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَهْدِيَهُ يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ ومن يرد أن يضله يجعل صدره ضيقا حرجا كأنما يصعد في السماء كذلك يجعل الله الرجس على الذين لا يؤمنون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whomever He wills to guide, He opens his breast towards Islam. And subhanAllah, you see some of the people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has favored, it's not just that they're Muslimin, is that Allah has made Islam easy for them. And so that initial struggle and hardship to get up for prayer is gone. Now they love to go and enjoy prayer. That attachment to money when they're giving and that hesitation is gone. They love to give and their hands are always giving, as the Prophet ﷺ was described, like the rushing wind with khair. They love to rush towards what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to facilitate al-ibadah for us, to make it beloved to us, to make all things that draw us near to Him beloved to our hearts and easy for us to execute. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives an example that whomever He wishes to misguide, whomever He wishes to leave to go astray on his own guidance, He says He makes his chest constricted and closed. Keep these in mind, two words. Constricted and closed, as if he is asked to ascend to the heavens. Two different meanings that the ulama extract from this ayah. One you see more in classical tafsir. They mention that this person, because they do not wish guidance, they do not wish to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that asking them to open their hearts to Tawheed is like asking them to fly in the heavens. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives this example, that it is so difficult that because they let themselves go far from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is so difficult for Tawheed to enter their hearts, like you ask them to just pop up into the heavens. Nobody can do this. Who can just get up and fly? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala closes the ayah, and thus does Allah cause the evil and crookedness of people to rebound on themselves when they don't believe. And so also this ayah, of course, predominantly speaks about those that reject Islam, and yet none of us should feel safe and secure from this, because the meaning at the end of the ayah is when a person becomes arrogant, when a person becomes distant from Allah, Allah causes their own evil to come right back at them. This is the importance of our Islamic character and ethics. Another meaning, and we'll close with this, is mentioned more by contemporary scholars. And I'll give it to you by way of a story. And for this reason, some of the ulama counted this ayah among the ayat of al-i'jaz al-ilmi fil-Qur'an, the knowledge and scientific miracles of the Holy Quran. And the story is that there was a convention, and at this convention was different people, some Muslim and some from other faiths. And they started, one of the people in attendance was a Russian scientist who was a woman. And she listened to the tafsir of this ayah and was amazed. Because with her background, she looked at it from the view of modern science as what happens to a person's breathing when they go up in altitude. So certainly the Arabs may have had a general knowledge that when you go up, you see the small mounts of Arabia and so on, you know it's exhausting and you run short of breath, but if you climb high enough, we know now, and they would not have been able to describe at their time, that the oxygen becomes less in the air. And so it's more difficult to breathe. And some of the ulama have commented that this is the first part, ضيقاً, that the chest is constricted, that it's harder and harder to breathe. This happens at about 16,000 feet. Can vary a little bit from physiology to physiology, but roughly at this height, those of you that look at Everest climbers and so on, they start to now, they can't just go up, they have to acclimatize, they have to get used to it. And actually some people are more able to extract the more limited oxygen. But then you get to a point which is for most people around 25,000 feet. And beyond that, without assistance, the lungs shut down and the person dies. And so the second word comes harajan, closed. And she, having been brought up in atheism, was so touched by this ayah, she declared that this knowledge was not accessible to any human being before 100 years ago. Nobody knew this. Beyond panting, even with the theory of oxygen, nobody knew these levels because no one had gone to these heights. And that this was in the Holy Quran with this depth and precision and beauty. In fact, this woman at this conference declared how deceived she had been and people around her had been with the false promises of materialism, and said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. This ayah was a key for her Islam, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He make it a key for our submission and nearness to Him. Allahumma ameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.